Hi boys and girls, it's me, Miss Summers. Alright, today I want to show you 3 easy ways to draw some flowers. So you will need a piece of paper, you'll need a pencil, and something to color with. Piece of paper, pencil, and something to color with. Alright, so I have markers here today. I'm going to use those just because I think it's a little easier for you all to see when I use markers. So I'm going to start off with yellow to make the inside of my flower here. But if you want to use a pencil to draw first and then add color later, you can do that as well. So first, I'm going to turn my paper so that it's landscape, right? Which means the long way is going side to side. So I'm going to hold my paper in landscape and I'm going to draw a small yellow circle. It's not teeny tiny, right? But fairly small off to the side of my paper. So that's going to be the center of my flower. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to quickly color that in. And remember, when you're coloring, you want to try to fill in all of those white spaces. All right, so now that I have the center of my flower, I'm going to choose a color for my petals. I think I'm going to go with this color right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my marker touching the center of my circle, right? Touching my circle, and then it's going to bump up and around. So I'm going to draw one petal at a time, one flower petal, right? And then next, I'm going to start right from where I stopped with my marker, and I'm going to draw another bump. I'm going to try my best to make them about the same size, but it's okay if it's a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. Things in nature are not usually exactly perfect, right? All right, so I'm just going to continue on like that, adding one petal at a time until I make it all the way around my circle. And you can see it's starting to look like a flower now. So when I come to almost finish my flower, right, a lot of times we run out of room to put our flower petals when we're drawing this way. So I'm just going to make a little mark there, and that's going to be a little reminder that I need to leave space. I'm going to bring that line up and around this way and up and around that way so that I have enough space for my last flower petals. There we go. So there's a very simple flower right there, right? Kind of like a daisy. Okay, so for our next flower, I'm going to go back and get my yellow, and we're going to start in a similar way to the first one. So I'm going to start by drawing a yellow circle, right? Off on the other side of my paper, about the same size. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color that circle in, just like that. Nice. All right, I think that this flower, I'm going to make it red. So this time when we make our petals, I'm going to change the shape of our petals, right? So our first petals were kind of like a U shape or a rainbow shape, if you think about it that way, right? This one is going to be kind of close to a heart. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start again right near my circle, touching the circle, and I'm going to go up, but I'm going to add another bump this time. So it looks a little bit like a lowercase m, or kind of like the top part of a heart, right? And then I'm just going to go around my circle this way, making my lowercase m heart-like shapes, adding one petal at a time. See? And when you're drawing, especially if you're drawing with a pencil, don't worry about making your shapes too perfect, right? Because a lot of times we'll spend time erasing and drawing and erasing and drawing, and then we end up with a lot of different pencil marks and eraser smudges on our paper, when really, if we just left it the way it was at first, it looked pretty good, right? Nice. So when you finish your flower, it'll look like this, right? So right now we have two different types of flowers. Right, but I think we can add one more. So I'm going to choose my next color for this one. I'm going to go with a pink. And we're going to start by making kind of a raindrop shape, right? So I started at the top here and I went down, around, and back in. Yeah. All right, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw two diagonal lines to make the top look kind of like a W, right? You can see it kind of looks like a W at the top. I'm going to start at the side of one of those diagonal lines I just added, and I'm going to bring that line around, down, and in, right? So I started at the top of that, and I went around, down, and back in. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side here. Start at the top, go around, down, and in. Nice. So you see we have another flower here. This one looks kind of like a tulip, right? All right, now we can of course add some details to our drawing. So I'm going to get some green so that I can add some different leaves and some stems to my flowers here. So I think I'm going to start over here on our first flower. And I think I'm going to draw a leaf kind of behind our petals, right? So I used green and I just drew a little leaf there right behind the petals. Nice. And I think maybe this leaf has a line down the center, just like that. And then maybe this one has kind of a wiggly stem, right? So I'm going to draw a little curved line. It curves back and then again the other way, kind of like the letter S, right? Kind of like a little S curve. And then I'm going to do the same shape, kind of tracing along the side there to make my stem. Nice. All right, I'm going to go on to the next flower that I drew. And I think that this flower has maybe a curved stem. I'm going to draw just a slightly curved line, and then I'm going to shift that line over to complete my stem. And then I think that maybe this flower has a lot of smaller leaves. So I'm going to add some ovals. I'm going to add 3 ovals on one side to make my leaves. And then I'm going to add 3 on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3. Right? Very good. All right, but I still have one more flower that needs some more details. So I think that this one has kind of a straight stem. So I'm going to draw another straight line there. There we go. And then I'm going to give this one kind of a long leaf that comes from the bottom. So I'm going to draw a nice tall curved line. It's kind of diagonal. And then I'm going to curve that line and bring it down and in, right? So you see we drew 3 easy flowers, 3 different ways. And of course, you can always go back in and color now, add some more details. You can draw maybe some more flowers if you liked drawing one of the types of flowers best. Add some details, make it your own, right? All right, my friends, I'll see you next time.